Okay, so this one is a very sticky situation. Uh, I had to go around and around as to do I actually talk about this or not talk about this. I have to talk about it because there's just so many moving parts, so many things that really don't make a lot of sense, and I do have an opinion. And at this point, I think this is really it's in the court of public opinion. It hasn't got to the courthouse, so well, it actually has, but it's really heavy in the court of public opinion right now, and I have one. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Mr. Perry, what is really going on? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Listen, this is a tight one. I was contacted multiple times. Are you going to say something? When are you going to say something? I want to know what you have to say. I really don't like this type of business. I don't like this type of stuff. But let's just go on and get down to it. Let's get down to it. We got Tyler Perry of Tyler Perry Studios, and we have Derek Dixon. Derek Dixon is an actor, and we found out in this he's actually a writer and a producer as well, who basically met Tyler Perry back in 2019. Okay. He met Tyler Perry back in 2019. He was basically working an odd job, hosting, basically working, not really hosting, but serving drinks, and he was working a party that Tyler was at, and Tyler supposedly seen him, saw some star quality in him, and that it sounded like looks kind of thing, and offered for him to audition for a role. That was in 2019 when they met. The thing that was the big thing with this is that there's a whole bunch of hundreds of text messages between the two. That was in 2021. And he filed these charges against Tyler 6/13/2025. So June 13th of 2025 in Los Angeles, he filed these charges, charges of coercive and sexually exploitive dynamic between the two, advances being made on him by Tyler, and basically made for a very hostile work environment. He wanted some unethical needs and errands met, and Derek wasn't with it. So this is what's being said. Yeah. So I've seen these alleged text messages. And I have to say, when I look at the text messages, those text messages to me just look like text messages. It looks like a conversation between two gay men to me. Now that's what I see. That's what it came across to me as. And then the lawsuits for $260 million. So I got some digging to do. You know, I'm always not the one who's trying to run and break the story first. No, I got some digging to do. $260 million for some text messages about something you done said. And when I'm looking at it, it's literally, nobody's a child here. It is a conversation back and forth between two men. That's what I saw. It didn't seem like grooming to me. It didn't seem like anybody was being dragged in, because you could stop texting whenever you feel like stop texting. So I said, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. And especially when I seen this here. This is a piece from the actual lawsuit. Hold on. My goodness. This is just too much. This case arises from a sustained pattern of workplace sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation perpetrated by Tyler Perry, a powerful media mogul, against plaintiff Derek Dixon, a professional actor and screenwriter. Mr. Perry is an American actor, filmmaker, and playwright who has built one of the most successful careers in the film and television industry. Mr. Perry took his success and power and used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic with Mr. Dixon, initially promising him career advancement and creative opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him in his show, only to subject him to escalating sexual harassment, assault, and battery, and professional retaliation when Mr. Dixon did not reciprocate Mr. Perry's unwanted advances. These events occurred while Mr. Dixon was employed as a series regular on the Tyler Perry show, The Oval, and while Mr. Perry held direct control over his employment, compensation, and creative opportunities. Now, that sounds real bad on paper. That sounds really, really bad on paper. Really bad, okay? That sounds really bad. This went on for years because he was on The Oval. He was also on, what's the show with the Rackadoochies? Ruthless. He also did some time on the show Ruthless. Plus, he had a whole situation of his own where Tyler supposedly promised to produce a pilot for him for a screenplay that he wrote. So again, we're talking 2019 you met. All of this is going on. You finally filed suit in 2025. It's 2025. That's 5 years later. Now, I'm not getting ready to do any type of victim blaming or any of that kind of stuff, but some things just don't make sense to me. Some things don't make sense because McDonald's is always hiring. You don't have to be on Ruthless. You don't have to be on The Oval. You don't have to have your screenplay produced at Tyler Perry Studios. If you're talented, you can go over there and see Lee Daniels. You go see Oprah. You go see, you already got Tyler on your resume, so you can go other places. So this is, the situation was so bad, but you kept yourself in that position. Something just doesn't sound right. And $260 million, I said, I got to dig some more. Because I can't imagine anybody requesting $260 million and there's nothing physical. I dug a little bit. And then I found some alleged stuff. 2020, there was a claim that he says he claimed that Tyler touched his thighs at a house party that he had. Remember, they met in 2019. 2020, Tyler invited him to a party at his house. You know, Tyler does that. I know a YouTuber that Tyler Perry reached out to. She does all his shows. She reviews all his shows. He reached out and flew her out to a party at his house. So this is nothing out of the ordinary for Tyler. Tyler is one who reaches out. That's what he does. But y'all are potentially going to be working together. He brings you in. You're at a party, and He supposedly drank too much. Tyler told him, don't worry about it. You stay here for the night, and gave him his guest room. And he said that Tyler he was so drunk, but Tyler climbed into a bed with him and was touching on his thighs. So that was like what I seen as the first time that something happened, and that was physical. Okay, now that's out of order. That's out of order. Night crawling and carrying on is completely out of order. Completely out of order. But again, that's 5 years ago. That's 5 years ago. And then that happened. You hadn't even got on the show yet. So you could have left everything alone and went on about your business. But again, these things at what cost? So they said that he basically said, no, I don't want that. I'm not into any of that. And Tyler backed off. Now, again, in 2020, he claims that there was a situation where Tyler asked him if he likes it rough, if he likes it rough sex, if he likes it rough, and he supposedly grabbed him by the throat. He grabbed him by the throat, and he said, look how you just lit up whenever that happened. I think you like it. I think you like it rough. You still stayed on board after that. Now, you've been violated twice. You still stayed on board after that. And then there's another situation that happened. And this is really a whole bunch. This one, I said, oh, wait a minute now. Says that he was staying with Tyler. He was staying with Tyler, okay? Y'all understand that? Staying with Tyler. Living in the house that belongs to Tyler, which means you work in the show, you making a paycheck off of Tyler. So you can very easily go somewhere and live somewhere else. But you're living with Tyler. You run me that. You get my paycheck. I ain't got no overhead. I'm living the life. I'm living the life. But this time, Tyler supposedly pulled his, well, he was walking around with no clothes. He just had his underwear on. They said that he pulled his underpants down and grabbed his behind rough, and said that Tyler grabbed his hands when he tried to stop him and told him, just let it happen. Now, here's the thing. Now, this is a whole bunch of mess now. This is a whole, now that's bad. That right there is bad. That ain't too cool. That ain't too cool. That ain't too cool right there. That's quite a bit aggressive. That's quite a bit aggressive. And depending on how the lawyers go at it, that definitely could come across as sexual deviance. Okay? But see, because there's always a but, especially when we talk about grown men touching other grown men's butt in their own domicile. In their domicile. If you already had these problems with Tyler previously, before you moved into his place, why are you walking around with your underwear on? See, I got so many questions. And I'm sure I'm just a nobody. So I could imagine when we get into this courtroom with these high-powered lawyers, I'm sure some of these questions are going to come up. If I've been somewhere with someone that I don't like in that manner, and I know they're a bit aggressive, why am I walking around with just underwear on? Why am I staying in their place? But even when we stand in their place, You ain't had no joggers to put on. You walking around with your underwear on. Now you say he done pulled your underwear down and grabbing your butt and carrying on. But everything points to like you were being kept. I tell y'all about being kept all the time. All the time. I talk about being kept and how being kept ain't cool. You're going to pay it on the front end or you're going to pay it on the back end. You cannot live for free. You cannot live for free. James, do you think people are afraid of speaking out because they're being blackballed? Sometimes that's absolutely a thing. But I ain't moving in their house, LaRonda. I ain't moving in their house. If you looked at my thumbnail for this, I wrote on it, you can't date the trade. You can't date the trade. And that's a message to Tyler. You know better. We always, Tyler Perry has never come out and said that he is gay. He's never come out and said he's gay. But this is what this looks like. Those conversations looks like a gay man and another man that he say he ain't gay, then you trade. Because straight men don't have those types of phone conversations back and forth with another man. Either you're gay too, or you're trade. And being a gay man, you need to understand you can't date the trade. The trade is what the trade is. They for the streets. They're for the streets. And everything about this, when it comes to Derek Dixon, to me, sound like trade. There's all different kinds of trade. But a lot of trade want to be paid. And that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Trade don't do drag. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? When did Derek do drag? Derek ain't did drag. Tyler does drag. Tyler not the trade, child. Tyler's not the trade. Exactly. What is trade? Trade is basically a boy who messes around for whatever reason. Some of them just have that proclivity. They like a little something extra. They like to play with the boys, and they do what they do on the side, but they never going to live a gay life. They don't identify with that. They don't claim to be that. They will not allow for you to say that they are gay. They don't hang in gay bars. I hate to say that, D-Lo, that trade equals gay for pay, because no, it doesn't all the time. There's trade that don't require being paid. So I really hate that. And again, being in life, you understand that. All trade don't get paid. All trade don't get paid. And there's a difference between trade and down low. DL and trade are not the same thing. Because DL are gay. They are gay. They are literally just hiding. Trade does not identify with that at all. It's literally a case-by-case situation. Yeah, trade is not that, and that's a thing that people who are not in the life, and some people who are in the life don't understand that. All trade does not get paid. Trade don't always be bad. They don't play the rainbow game. Actual trade don't play the rainbow game. They're not playing that game with you. That's why y'all hear me say all the time, you cannot date the trade. You can't date the trade. They don't even see it for you like that. It is a case by case. It happened this Tuesday. It probably won't happen next Tuesday. It may not happen again for 8 months. It may not happen again for 8 months when they get that hair up their ass and they decide that they want to do something. You cannot date the trade. The trade does not belong to anyone. The trade belongs to the streets. When I was growing up, you always would see, we would see a lot of times the trans girl, oh, they're going to be mad with me. The trans girls be out in the street pulling each other's hair out over the trade because they get it in their head. He's my man. He's not your man, bitch. You cannot date the trade. The trade is for the streets. He will screw you, get you to introduce you, and I've seen it. I've seen the trade take the trans girls and have them introduce them to some of the other trans girls, and they be sleeping with them. They'll sleep with them, and then the two trans girls are fighting over him, and he with a regular woman, and ain't think about neither one of them because that proclivity ain't jumping up back up in him till maybe next summer. So I will always stand by that, and I am a rainbow rider. I've been riding the rainbow for 53 years, 53 years strong. I know this gay life like I know the back of my hand, and trade is very interesting. Trade is a very, very interesting case study. Trust me when I tell you, they are. It's not for you to understand. If you're gay, you're not supposed to understand. If you're straight, you're not supposed to understand them. They don't understand themselves. But they don't identify as anything. They don't play with that rainbow. They don't get into that rainbow. They, in their minds, are straight, and they're just doing what it is that they want to do. You can't date them. You can't date them. And for me, it seems to me like Derek was playing a trade game, and I think he thought he really wasn't going to deliver. He just was going to go ahead and do whatever it was he was going to do. He picked up on the fact that Tyler took a liking to him. This is what it sounds like from where I'm sitting and what I see. Tyler picked up on the fact that Tyler had a liking to him. I'm going to bleed him dry for everything that I could get from him. You said, what Brandon said, technically trade would be the high form of DL. An example, they wouldn't tell they meet around, but do mess around, but do it DL, but not looking for a relationship because that's not their road. I know what you're saying, Brandon, but for those who really can't grasp all that, no. DL is what DL is. Trade is what trade is. DL is gay. DL could be considered bisexual. They're gay, though. They literally have a space on the rainbow. There is the T in LGBTQIA is for trans. It's not for trade. Trade has no space on the rainbow. So no, I always separate it out because people get confused. They always stick jail. You see people writing something about jail. It ain't got nothing to do with jail. It has nothing to do with jail. It has nothing to do with nothing, really. It just is a person that wants to do whatever they want to do when they want to do it. They're just like a free spirit. They're a free spirit. They don't have anything to do with either one of us. Gay or straight. They don't have anything to do with either one of us. They're just free spirits. They're just free spirits. That's it. There is no, they don't have a classification. They're trade. And trade ain't nothing good to be. It's not cute to be called the trade. When we're calling you the trade, that's a key. That's a key. Look at it like that. You ain't calling nobody trade because it's not nice. Oh, child, that's the trade. That we look at them as lesser than. Now, I said it. We look at them as lesser than. We don't respect the trade, and the trade don't respect us. Down low and trade are separate. They're different. They don't have nothing to do with each other. Right, TC? They ain't got a thing to do with each other. When T.S. Madison was talking to Nene, she was discussing trade, but didn't say that. Trade is a very prominent thing in the lives of trans women. Very prominent, because they do like women. They do like women. They prefer women. That's why there's always a whole bunch of situations, and a lot of times when see, that's going too far. That ain't about Tyler Perry, and that ain't about this situation. That's another conversation for another time. But that's why a lot of times the trans girls and the butch queens don't get along, because they will fall out over trade. They get mad at each other because the trade has more of, the trans girl has a better chance at laying with trade than a butch queen, what we would call, like myself, a butch queen. Because again, they literally identify as straight. So that female figure, that female form will 9 times out of 10 always win that battle. And when it doesn't, that's the times when you run into a real mad trans girl, honey. Be real mad. There's a lot of trans girls can't stand us. If you, baby, that turns into something really ugly. Like I said, that's another conversation for another time. It's another, someone I knew called them switch hitters. Now there you go. Now there you go. But you know, you can say the same for bisexuals. But I know what they meant, two snaps. And this is what I'm getting off of that, because we could do that all night. We could do that all night long, and I'll do it with you. I'll pound it in your head until you get it, or you'll get it for just right now, and then you'll come back, and then we go back and through it again, because people don't want to understand it, but it really ain't that deep. Just know this. Know what I wrote on my thumbnail. You cannot date the trade. The only person that could date trade is what y'all hate to be called, a cisgender woman. A biological woman is the only person that can date trade. They are the only person or persons that trade will consider, oh, we're actually dating. That's it. Ain't no trade boy claiming you as no butch queen. Ain't no trade boy claiming you as no trans woman. They're only ever going to be as upfront as they can be with a cisgender biological woman born as a woman. They win. There is no argument. There is no fight. They reign supreme when it comes to trade. And I said it. Women reign supreme when it comes to trade. And listen, my feelings ain't hurt. My feelings ain't hurt. Have at them, because they're confused as hell and don't nobody want to be bothered. Well, a lot of the boys do be wanting to be bothered. They think it's cute. But just the same, there's no fight. There's no argument. I always, anytime I see it going on, I just shake my head. Y'all both look stupid. Why are you trans and you a gay boy? What y'all fighting over him for? He on his way over Gladys's house. Go sit down. Both of you look ridiculous. Shut up, both of you. And that's the truth. Now that's the lesson y'all ain't even asked for, but y'all can have it. You can have it. And it will all, it's just that I've been watching it. I've been living it forever. I would not lie to you. I would not pull your leg when it comes to trade. Honey, I can't stand the rain against my window, because that's all they're going to do, honey. That's the life that you be living when you playing around with trade and thinking you dating trade. Look where Tyler is right now. Because if these things are true, he'll run around trying to date the trade. And he couldn't have them. I don't care how many text messages you send. I don't care how many roles you put in shows. I don't care how many screenplays you produce for him. I don't care how many times you let him live with you. I don't care how many odd jobs you got him, how many times you set him up as a bartender. It don't make no difference, because he is trade. You can't date him, sis. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. No, two snaps. No, I'm not going to agree to that. You said they stunt queens. I'm not going to agree to that because, again, all trade doesn't require payment. All trade is not bad. All trade is not running game. Some trade is just doing what comes. Let's get together and do what comes naturally. That comes naturally to them. They're really not trying to do you. You know, there is definitely ones that understand that they can do you. Oh, yeah, I can get you to buy me some tennis shoes because you're weak. And there are boys and trans girls that are weak for trade. So I'm not denying that. That's the truth. But all trade is not that. They're not all crackheads. They're not all fugitives. They're not all felons. Some of them work every day. They work every day. Goddamn good jobs. But on a specific Saturday, bringing back sweet memories. Hey, window pane. That on a specific Saturday, and it might be your turn again. Might not, but you can't be getting mad because mother told you at the beginning you can't date the trade. Don't get upset. They don't take you seriously. The only people they take seriously is real women. And then now they're the ones that they do wrong because it's just another form of cheating. It's another form of cheating. Just like they step out on the woman with another woman, they got to really watch because they'll step out on them with another man. You just got to watch. James, I live in Atlanta, and you are right. I know some trades since you explain it. They like men, but they will say that they're not. They're not. They don't. Yep, LaRonda, they don't see it like that at all. At all. So let's talk. Let's go and get onto this. There was a story on First 48. The guy fell in love with his psychology patient he was treating in prison. Foolish. Ain't got nobody to be mad at but his damn self because he should have knew you can't date the trade. They are a case study. They are a case study, in my opinion. So he knew better. He needed to treat himself. He needed to lay on his own couch. Anyway. So my thing is, I don't know why Derek was staying with Tyler Perry and carrying on. Because what was the point? Like you got to make me understand how you felt like Tyler was holding something over your head. You could have got from up underneath it at any time because McDonald's is always hiring. If this situation is so bad and you can't get behind it, you could always leave. James, can women be trade? No, not at all. Because lesbianism is a different thing. Lesbianism is not frowned upon the way that being a homosexual male is frowned upon. So women don't have to go through all that. You know what they look at that? Oh, we were making acts. We were messing around. Oh, I did that in college. Oh, it wasn't no big deal. And nobody thinks nothing of it. Nobody thinks nothing of it. And then literally, if you got a man and you tell him that you was doing it, he'll be like, why don't you call her back over here? Yeah. So no, there's no need to even try to categorize any of that. Women, for whatever reason, and it is a double standard. That's one time that women win. See, in this little thing, women generally lose. Women always get the short end of the stick when it comes to stuff. When it comes to pay, when it comes to just their regular old civil rights, women always tend to come up short. When it comes to trade and it comes to the gay lifestyle, women always come up on top. So that's the one place where they can actually win. Don't nobody really care that much about a woman who skirts around with another woman. Don't nobody look at it that bad. They, be like, all right, She going through something. She'll be all right. You can sleep with 20 women, and then when you get done, you go get your pretty white dress, and you go stand up there with a man, and you take your vows, and you go on, and the world moves right along just as though it never even happened. And then from time to time, you could swing back around and call one of your girlfriends from college over, and she could lay up with you and your husband. And what do they call y'all? Oh, they're progressive. Oh, they really gets down. Ain't nobody gonna call you no bad names or nothing. So women win when it comes to that. And I ain't got a problem with it. Whoever said life was fair? The women got to win sometime. They got to win sometime. They got to fight for their pay. They got to fight to be treated fairly. Damn, they got to win sometime. So let them have the trade. let them kiss their girlfriend if they want to. I kissed the girl and I liked it. You know, go on and win, sister. I ain't got no problem with it. But that's just truth. That's just the facts. It doesn't make sense. It's never made sense to me. But I don't care. Who cares? Let them have a win. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. Let the girls win for a change. So that's how I feel about that. This stuff with this text messages, I just don't see it. It's Diddy trade. That's all. No, Diddy couldn't possibly be trade. How's Diddy trade? How's Diddy trade? Not trade. Diddy just Diddy. The things that Diddy's being accused of, Diddy's just Diddy. Diddy is just off the chain. They ain't even got no name. Well, they do have some names for him, but it ain't trade. That's no. He's something different. He's something different. And I'm gonna leave that alone. LGBT confuse us all at times. That's it. The LGBTQual, honey. Leave it alone. It is what it is, child. Just let it roll. The rainbow is a very colorful place. It's a very colorful place. It's just like, you know, if you actually get to understand it, your head might explode. If you actually understand all of it, your head might explode. So don't work yourself up too much about it. So my thing with the text messages, Tyler's been around long enough to know that you got to move carefully. You are a target. You have a target on your back. And I believe the target has been, the light's been shined on the target. Do I feel like he's being targeted? Yes. Do I feel like it's a money grab? Yes. Is it fair? No. But some of it you got to take accountability for because you put yourself in this position. Never say what you won't repeat. See, them text messages, anybody that I was texting with and I said something, yeah, I said it. Now what? Now what? Don't type it if you can't repeat it. Don't say it if you can't repeat it. Tyler, a lot hangs in the balance because he got a whole nother issue. When this is all over, said and done, there's a whole, even if he's found completely innocent, he got a whole lot to explain because he has a specific type of fan base that ain't just going to let it all be swept up underneath the rug. They're going to feel some kind of way, no matter the fact that they've been calling Tyler names from day one. They've been making assumptions about Tyler and who he is and how he gets down all along. There's going to be some people that really gives him the blues no matter what. He is going to lose something with this. That's another thing. The timing of this. The timing of this whole thing for me is completely suspect. It's completely suspect. He just hit pay dirt all over again with this whole Netflix thing. He done touched Netflix 2-3 times in the last 2 years, and it's gold every time. That Beauty in Black, boom, it blew up Netflix. Then he dropped this straw, boom, it blew up Netflix. And it's like, it seems to me like old boy was just sitting back Him and his little lawyer been sitting back and they like, okay, now's the time. Today's the day. It all seems very, very shady to me. Very shady. But again, that's the game. And I'm still asking Derek, Dixon, why'd you stay? Why'd you stay? If you lived with Tyler Perry, then it wasn't about a money thing that you need. You know, you ain't had nowhere to live. You didn't need nowhere to live. You had no overhead. You staying with Tyler Perry. But you try to act like you were so afraid of him. No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. You wasn't living in his house. I ain't living in nobody's house that I know want to have me and I don't want them to have me. I'm not, it's not happening. It's not happening. Now, here's the other thing. So he's actually suing Tyler Perry, the person, and he's suing Tyler Perry Production Studios, LLC. Doing the most. Because he supposedly told him, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to kill your character off. Okay. All right. So now the business is under fire. Tyler, the person, is under fire. You got to get yourself out of it, brother. You got to get yourself out of it. Do I believe? I believe some of the stuff. Some of the stuff I believe it. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe it. I don't know Mr. Perry. I've never met Mr. Perry, but I know gay men. I know men, period. I know trade. I know gay men. I know trans men, trans women. I know people, and I know what life is about. So, yeah, I believe a whole bunch of it. The text messages, they were what they were. And I don't care what anybody says. To me, it just sounds like somebody gay talking to somebody that's trade or somebody who's actually gay. Because there's other people who are gay who actually carry on like that too, who just as gay as a $3 bill, but not attracted. Because that's what I got. I looked at it now. I really didn't even give him the trade. I really gave him, you just gay and you just don't like Tyler. But you're trying to get what you can get. But he say he's straight, so we'll go with you to trade. You to trade. You in it to win it. Now, here's a question for y'all, and I'm going to get on out of here. Christian Keys. Christian Keys' name is coming up again. Now, somebody asked me earlier, do you think that people are scared and that's why they're not coming out? DJ, you just being messy. You being messy. Christian Keys never said who the millionaire was, who this powerful man was that violated him was. And then he kind of just went away. And then allegedly they said that it was Tyler. Then they said that he got paid off and he shut up. I don't know. I don't know any of that to be true. I don't know. But I know that Christian Keys shut his mouth. And do we want to hear Christian? Like if Christian comes back and starts talking now and just hypothetically, if he says it was Tyler the whole time, do we want to hear Christian Keys? I'm going to tell you, SpillitBoyTV don't want to hear a goddamn thing that Christian Keys has to say. I don't. When he did all that and then he then he really didn't say nothing, then he went away, that's it for me. First impressions are the lasting impressions. You got one time to impress me. And I'm not impressed. And I don't want to hear nothing else he got to say with your fine self. Because he cute. He's very cute. And that's the other thing. Now, I don't even want to be so rude, but I might as well because I done said everything else. I look at Derek, Dixon, and I look at who else Tyler employs. Am I the only one who feels that their face is being played in? And I'm just going to leave that right there and put a pin in this. And when some more information comes out, then we'll talk again. But I'm going to go on and put, you go watch The Oval. You go watch, what's the Rakadushis? Go on over there and watch Ruthless. You go watch them shows. You go watch Have and Have Nots. You go watch Beauty in Black. You go watch any of them things. Any of the things where Tyler does the casting, and you tell me that he threw everything to the wind and caution to the wind about Derek Dixon. I love y'all for real. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a good night playing games.